Hello and welcome to All Backed Up. I'm your host Dylan and I'm here with Chaw and Jack. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice. Worked pretty well. We're going to be talking about our journeys going into our backlog. I don't know. We don't really have a good tagline for this yet. We have a backlog of games. We're attempting to play them. And then we'll talk to you about said games.
Yeah, something like that. A backlog of games that, may I just add, is actually getting longer by the week.
Yeah, because games come out faster. Or rather, we realize there are games that we haven't played faster than we play them.
Yep.
Such is the life of adults. Adults or adults? It doesn't matter.
Adults.
Sure. Right, so I'll go into why later on, but I've not played so many games other than Apex Legends this week. But Jack, I know that you said you've played a little bit of Dishonored, so...
Yeah, again, like it's... Dishonored is one of those games, really, that I find I sort of struggle to get into for more than, like a couple of hours at a time. And I'm really struggling to sort of make headway in the campaign at the moment in terms of, like, consistently, pushing through it and sitting down and playing a lot of it at once. But I played one more mission on it. I played the one where... So I just finished getting the Royal Physician, Sokolov, after, like, you go through that massive bridge. I just finished doing that. And then I think the next one that I'm on at the moment that I just finished was the Lady Boyle party, where you've been invited or you've been told that there's this person called Lady Boyle who you have to try and track down and kill, and I guess you go to her big mansion where she's hosting a party. So this mission, as well as at the start where you get dropped off, you get dropped off in like the middle of a a little river, and then you can go up top and there's these guys on like those stilt things.
Yeah.
And I must admit that this one sort of it took me a bit more time to get into, just purely based on the fact of that first part with those guys on stilts, and I just couldn't get past that bit for like the longest amount of time. I couldn't feasibly, I just couldn't conceivably get away of getting across that main starting area without alerting those guys and just completely losing my shit.
Just gotta be sneaky sneaks,
Yeah, so I went back to it like a few days ago, and then actually sort of decided to take it a bit more slower than I perhaps normally would, and just sort of tried to feel my way around the level a bit more and actually figure out a way of getting past those guys without actually, doing too much enemy killing in that first sort of area. And then I snuck my way into the into the area with the mansion where the actual party's taking place, and you have to hand a document to some guy. I can't remember quite what his name is. Lord Shaw. You have to hand a note to a guy called Lord Shaw, and then he says something, and then he's like, "Oh well, if you want to, he's handed me this note. Now I challenge you to a duel." And you have to basically like go onto you go to a location, he goes to a location, you face back to back, and then you get a countdown of 3 seconds, and you turn around and shoot each other. And I managed to kill him by doing that, and then I went on to go into the Lady Boyle's mansion, managed to sneak my way up through the balcony route up there, and I was sort of trying to be as sneaky as possible as in that place. I did, however, so I went into a room, and then I went up into like vents, and I managed to get like on top of a ledge in a room, and then there were these two guys walking around. I tried to drop down and take one of them out without the other person knowing. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. And then
gotta get that double takedown, man.
Yeah, I know, I failed.
No, as in like there's an upgrade where
really?
You can take down two people at once. I think that's Dishonored.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll have to have a look at that. That sounds actually that sounds like it would have been pretty useful in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I don't know, like I think randomly just 3 people. So Lady Boyle is wearing a disguise, and she's disguised as one of 3 people. She's either wearing like a red mask, a black mask, or a white mask. and you're never you don't know which one she is until you actually kill her, and you get the statement come up saying you've killed Lady Boyle. Make it back to the boat and get out of there. But I don't know why this happened, but I went down and tried to kill one of them, and I couldn't. I killed one guy, and then the other guy saw me, so I had a sword fight with him, killed him, and then all of the Lady Boyle doppelgangers just appeared in the room at once.
Weird.
Yeah, so I I killed all three of them because I wasn't like I actually killed Lady Boyle right at the end because she was the one wearing the red mask, and I killed the white mask lady and the black mask lady, and then I finally got around to killing Lady Boyle, and then a whole bunch of guys just started running at me, so that was fun trying to get out of that party. But yeah, I did that mission. I think I keep saying this, I am making a point to try and totally explore every area that I get into. So I am trying to make a point of getting all of the runes, getting all of the bone charms, trying to find as much like secret stuff as I can. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I was actually really, pleased with myself after I got past that first opening bit after, getting annoyed by it several times. I actually felt really like fulfilled in myself in terms of actually finding a way past it, and then persevering and actually having a bit more fun with the game as well. So all in all, I mean, I'm enjoying it. As I say, it's perhaps not going. I'm perhaps taking a bit longer than I would have liked to play through it, but nevertheless, I am enjoying it. I do have to remember to like before the missions, I always have to remember to go and get some like more arrows created, more bullets and everything from that guy. I always just forget, and then I go into a mission and I don't have any equipment. So I do need to sort of keep reminding myself that I do actually need to restock on supplies and stuff before I actually go into these missions. But apart from that, I'm actually really enjoying it. Like I say, I mean, I haven't played too much more of it, but I know I'm maybe just slightly past halfway through the story mode of it at the moment.
Yeah, you're definitely more in the sort of like actual game moment of it. I think at the beginning of Dishonored, it's very sort of getting you used to it, but now you're definitely in you're playing this game now.
Yeah, and I mean,
element.
Like I mentioned when I was last talking about it, I certainly feel like now I'm getting more of a grip on, I know which piece of equipment is bound to which number button on the keyboard, so I'm actually going through and saying, I want to use this, I want to check if there's any enemies around me, I need to use that dark vision, let me press number 8, and I know that just instinctively. So I'm actually getting a bit more used to sort of knowing where the buttons are and knowing which button I need to press and what power I want to use at what time, which I'm actually getting a bit more used to how the gameplay actually feels as well. So
that's cool. You're becoming one with the character you're playing.
Gotta get that muscle memory,
Yeah, man. Like I must say I have tried to. I don't know why, but for some reason when I try to play it with my controller with my little Xbox One Wi-Fi dongle thing, for some reason it just like my controller keeps disconnecting. So I have actually tried to play it with the with my Xbox controller, but like I say, for some reason it's just not holding a stable connection. I'm not too sure why. But I mean, I guess that's sort of part of the reason why I've had to sort of learn to get used to playing it with keyboard, because I did try to play with my controller very early on in the game and it just wasn't giving me a stable signal for some reason, and now I've actually gotten used to it, and I'm actually quite happy with how equipped I am in terms of using the different buttons and the actual control scheme. Normally I am I wouldn't say that I'm a great keyboard player, but yeah, I'm actually quite happy with how well I've sort of picked it up.
Becoming quite the virtuoso.
Yeah, man.
What you were saying about that, like the opening of that level, I thought was kind of, for me, the main experience with Dishonored, right? You've got an area that you approach in one way and you just can't fucking do it, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And often the answer is just come at it literally the complete opposite way. Like there's not an answer. Like you could, if you wanted to, you could do that opening level just by running in and killing everybody, but you'd have to be really good at killing people because it can be quite hard when you get overwhelmed. Like
yeah, man,
I can never deal with more than a few people.
Yeah, it does get really stressful sometimes when you've got like 10 plus guys just running at you because they've sounded an alarm and you just can't do anything about it.
Does the game not give you tools to deal with huge mobs of enemies then?
Not particularly. You're not kind of meant to have huge mobs of enemies, really, are you? Like, it's meant to be, when you get a big mob of enemies, it's meant to be really hard because you fucked up a little bit.
Yeah. But you can always like go and hide, can you not? After alerting.
Yeah, you can run away and hide.
Yeah.
But then they're all still around now. You've definitely, I think at that point, more enemies come out if the alarm goes off.
I did, however, Dylan, I did take your bit of advice from the last time, and I did actually unlock the skill where now just any enemy you kill disappears.
So
it's
just, that's so good,
isn't it?
It's so good. Like, especially when there is a whole bunch of guys running at you, and then you want to try and run away, but you can't quite escape them because there's more of them, and then if you just take them out like strategically one by one, you can slowly just make them disappear, and then you can disappear yourself, which I think is fucking brilliant. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it at the moment. As I say, I'm a bit disappointed that I haven't actually played more of it, but yeah, it is at times, sometimes, like I said, this mission that I have just finished, it took me a while to try and actually get into it and play it, and I feel like that's a struggle that I'm having with, I guess, a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of parts, but there are some parts in this game where I just sort of get overwhelmed sometimes, and I just sort of, just need to take a step away from Dishonored and then, just clear my mind and come back to it maybe a couple of days later. So I'm getting there, and I'm enjoying it at the moment as well. So
yeah, well, I'm glad you're getting into it, and I mean, I think that's kind of the case with one of these games. Often they're a bit too tense to have like one massive playthrough with. Like we were talking about Titanfall 2 last week. You can kind of do that at once. It feels very...
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I feel like Dishonored is kind of the opposite. It's a similar sort of motion-based game, but because it's less just run through and kill everything, it can be a little bit harder to be like, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, the pacing is not set up to do that, is it? And
no, not at all.
Like the kind of gameplay is more stressful, and you don't want to be playing it for long stretches of time, basically, right?
Yeah. I always found for me that it was that kind of game where you get really stressed out and stop playing because you're annoyed, and then like half an hour later, you're like, oh, I could play Dishonored though.
Yeah.
So it was one of those weird ones for me. But yeah, I think it's one of those ones that can be quite hard to play all at once. The only reason I think I did it quickly was because I played it over a summer break, I think, before I came to uni. So I was literally doing nothing else.
That's a good time. How are you?
Those were the days.
Yeah.
When you could play games non-stop. So I mentioned beforehand that I've not really played anything. I played a lot of Apex Legends, but we'll get onto that.
Yes.
But because I had Games Pass, so a lot of the games I was playing were on Game Pass, so like Fallout and Ruiner and whatever the other one was that I had played a little bit of. But my controller at the moment is so broken and annoying that I felt it was stupid to buy Game Pass, because I'm at the moment quite annoyed at playing games. My my main complaint about Apex Legends at the moment is that my controller doesn't work.
Oh, what, really?
So, I get that.
So the game itself I'm fine with, but every so often I'll get into a firefight and my controller will disconnect.
Wow!
This was literally the worst time for you to disconnect.
It's very sad.
Because they bought out. I imagine you guys maybe spoke about it a bit on the last episode, but they obviously bought out like the season pass now as well for Apex.
Yeah, I don't think it had come out last weekend,
Okay.
had it? I think it came out this week.
Yeah.
It came out on Monday. Yeah, that's been introduced now with their new character, and that's basically all they've introduced.
Yeah.
The season pass, I think, was overhyped quite a lot, and people are very annoyed because they've started it off with just XP based, which is reasonable. Because they said they just want people to get used to it, to use the core mechanics of the game before trying to do all these ridiculous achievements, which is kind of how it works in Fortnite at the moment. You get extra XP for doing a stupid thing. And so they've said they're avoiding that for the first time, but they'll introduce it later on. But all the rewards are just kind of bullshit stuff, like kill trackers, and like half of them, so every 5 levels, you get a badge with your level number on it.
Okay.
Which is just stupid. Because literally the only relevant one then would be like the level 100 one, because nobody's going to show off their level 15 badge.
Yeah, exactly.
And like nobody wants to show off their badge until they're a high level, and it's the kind of thing where most people are going to be level 100 anyway, so there's no point showing off anything less. So people were really salty about how shit the battle pass was, and like the skins that you get with it were not good. Like, sure, we've seen them.
Yeah, man, there's just very. I don't know. There's not much freedom you have with skins in a battle pass for the VR games, right? Because if you have particles flying around your character, it's just going to be really easy to spot. It's not like Dota where you can have like pets running around you, or your abilities are like special. It looks really cool.
Yeah, but like Overwatch is kind of, I think the problem here lies with that. So Overwatch is a similar vein of game, right? And they've got those sort of really fun, like their skins are great. I think everyone can agree that aesthetically they're good. It's a good looking game, and the skins are kind of worth it. But I feel like Apex Legends has sort of confined itself quite a bit with the lore.
Right. Okay.
So like they can't really have all this ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
It has to be somewhat grounded in the fact that this is a blood sport on the outskirts of a post-war society.
Yeah.
So there's lots of military kind of stuff. There's sort of search and rescue kind of people, and then there's psychopaths.
Yeah.
But there's not really any space for like super outrageous stuff. They've got some cool skins, but I don't know. I feel like it's harder to go completely insane with it. Like, it would be weird if one of them was a cowboy.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Kind of thing.
Like things like Gibraltar's, rockets. They can be different skins. Like they can explode in different ways. I don't know. It can be many, many different things, but they're just confined to skins at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it would be cool if that sort of stuff was, but because like you could have stuff like smoke effects being different than just some smoke, I guess, as long as they're still obscuring.
Yeah, color smoke.
Or like sort of a festival carnival kind of haze thing, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
With like confetti and bullshit stuff like that, but obviously not necessarily that. But then it doesn't feel like it fits in so much, does it? Because they've not quite reached. It is a little bit ridiculous. Like it's sort of what Overwatch is to, or even what Fortnite is to Apex Legends in terms of how the like ridiculous gap Apex is to Titanfall, right? Yeah. So Titanfall is even more constrained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then again, they had ridiculous skins, but that was just like paint jobs.
Yeah. So because they obviously, like, the main thing with this battle pass is as you mentioned, they announced a new character in the game called Octane, and I try, like, you guys know that or you in particular, Dylan, know that I'm not a massive fan of battle royale games at the moment. Every time I try to get into Apex, I always just end up dying, and I'm just like, fuck this game. It's all fucking bullshit.
You do get very angry. It's quite stressful.
But when I tried to hop into a game or just hop into some random games with some random people on my own a few days ago, and when they had Octane out, and I just saw these like dropped down pretty early on, got some weapons, and I was actually having like an okay time running with the G7 Scout and the Evo 8. I was running with those two weapons, and I was actually having like quite a good time. And then out of nowhere, I just saw this guy just come jumping across my screen, and I literally just like freaked the fuck out. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, shit, no, yeah, Octane's out. That's what that is."
Yeah, it's a weird character, and it's sort of added a new element to people's movement, which is kind of good. I mean, that's what they want to do, right? And I feel like it hasn't broken any metas or anything in any significant way. I think a little bit with that you've got someone moving fast can come up on like Gibraltar holding off, or can get through Caustic's traps and stuff quite quick.
I mean, is there even a meta though?
I think there is. You're seeing stuff sort of come out with like the good kind of squads, because I think the thing that makes the meta different and weird is that it's not a character meta, it's a like character matchup.
Yeah.
Okay. So like just team composition.
Yeah, although the annoying part is that randoms don't necessarily care about team composition. You have to play with people
exactly
you can talk to, because I've had so many times where like you'll get on, and if you're picking last it's fine because you can pick based on other people, but if you pick first and then they just pick completely random people, so like you end up picking Bangalore and then they just pick Wraith and Mirage, and it's like, well, I guess we're not defending ourselves. I guess we're being very, very aggressive today.
Yeah, I mean, like I
don't
particularly have like a set character. You obviously know that I like the little scout guy with the little scarecrow guy with his little crow on his shoulder who goes around and
Thunder.
I obviously like him, but
hey them.
Yeah, sorry. But like if I know that I'm being picked last, and I see that one guy's got like an assault class and one guy's got I don't know, like one guy's picked up the defensive guy, I will be picking a healer just because I want, we don't have one of those on our team, therefore I'm going to be picking it. But yeah, like you say, Dylan, I feel like whenever I pick first, there's always the sense that other people after me who are picking always have
they just pick their main.
They always have that main character, and if it's not suited for your squad and the way that it's set up, then you don't really tend to last very long. So
the worst was I played a game the other day, and I picked first, and then the next person picked Wraith, and you can see them hovering over the character. The third person clearly also wanted Wraith. After the second person picked, they just didn't select and left immediately. They didn't get Wraith, so they left. And it's just like, you can't play Apex Legends as one character.
No,
that's
you
awful.
cannot.
God Lord.
Especially because you get a significant XP boost by playing different characters. You get like an extra... How many characters are there? 10. So you get like an extra 5,000 XP if you get a kill with each character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get 500 XP for each like first kill of the day.
Oh, okay. So that changes for each character. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's each character, and you also get like 25,000 XP per legend per week as well.
Right.
So you like they encourage you to move it around, but you still get people maining these characters, and you see them, don't you? You see like they've got 1,000 kills with one character, and it's clearly that's the only one they're playing.
Yeah,
and it gets kind of annoying. But I mean, that's the benefit of I think Apex are really encouraging people to play together, because there's also like you get boosts for playing with friends, and if you buy the battle pass you get boosts as well.
I mean 100%. I don't like, as much as I like rage at it so often, I don't feel like I feel like I probably wouldn't even have it in my mind of playing it if we didn't sit down and play it together, because I know obviously Chor, now you've got an Xbox One, you can hop on and play with us. And, but before, it was me, Mark, and Dylan running around in the squad, and I actually really enjoyed just playing together and having that sort of tactical communication and feeling like you're actually together in a squad was actually what has made me sort of want to try and come back and actually persevere with it.
Because it feels really satisfying to play it tactically with people.
Man, so much better.
Like when you get a squad. When you get a random squad that actually uses the pings, and you can sort of, which is another part. I think we've kind of discussed this before. The pings are really good on it. But
yeah, man.
If your squad uses that, you feel kind of connected anyway. It's easy to tell each other what you're doing with just that.
Yep.
So it can work out really well, but it's a lot easier if you just have people.
Yeah, honestly, it's so much better. I I think playing with randoms is just an awful time, especially if they don't ping.
I think like half the time it's awesome, and then a few times it's really good.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to you about it yesterday, Joe. I had like 3 matches in a row where we got in, and someone else was the jump master, and they took us immediately to bunker.
Right. Yeah.
And every time you start in bunker, you die because it's a bad place to start.
You just don't jump into a hot place, not a hot zone, but just like, why would you jump into a place with loads of people already? It's dumb.
I think I've also noticed that as time's gone on, as the game's got more popular, you get way more people who play like they just kind of ignore the squad. They just go off on their own, which again is just like you can't. I say you can't do that. Most people can't do that. I have had a few times where someone's run off by themselves and then just got like 10 kills.
Yeah, there are people who are really good, but imagine if they just stuck with their team, they would just be much better.
Yeah, you'd think, right? But oh well. But I was going to ask, Joel, so you, like Jack said, you've got an Xbox now, so you can play Apex with us. And I think you said you'd played a bit before on the PC, right? But not loads.
Yeah. I played a fair bit. Like, I sat down on a Saturday and just played the whole day of Apex, apart from meal breaks.
So, like, I guess this is still relevant then. Now that you've finished Titanfall, what are your... Like, how does it compare? Because obviously they're similar, and they're made by the same person, and they're set in the same universe. But what does it feel like compared to each other for you?
Movement-wise, Apex is slower, of course.
Yeah.
I expect to double jump, and I can't, and I'm sad.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's very similar, though. I don't see much differences. Shooting is very, very similar. I don't think there's any difference, actually.
Yeah, the shooting is basically the same.
Yeah, but you know, like in Apex, you have to worry about ammo types. In Titanfall, you just go around over the guns and you pick up automatic ammo. It doesn't matter. So there's that. But no, there's not much difference. I like it. I love it. It's really good.
I like it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I played a little bit of Titanfall day before yesterday, I think. Just because now that you can again. Last time I tried to play, there was nobody playing it, and then Apex has sort of brought it back. And it's a really strange experience because like Titanfall is so much faster, like unbelievably. And there's all these elements in it that are just like, you can see that they've affected Apex, obviously. Like, so there's all this pilot abilities and stuff like that I feel like they just work better in Titanfall, which is sad.
What, like wall running and double jumping?
Well, no, obviously that stuff's not in it.
Yeah.
In Apex, but like stuff like the grappling and like the holopilot stuff. I don't know. There's just an element of it feels like it works smoother.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it might just be because the grappling hook in Titanfall goes so much further.
Yeah.
And you can use it more, so you can use it in conjunction with itself a lot easier. But I don't know, there's just this element of freedom of movement that you get in Titanfall that's so satisfying, and it's kind of just sad that Apex isn't. Like, I was playing it thinking, I'm glad that it's brought people back to it because it means you can play it, but it's just, I'm kind of just sad that I can't be playing Titanfall with all these people.
Yeah.
Rather than Apex. Because it's just like, more people need to play that game. More people need to have that experience of, holy shit, this is like Apex Legends, but better. And I mean, they are different, so it's hard to say they're better, but...
Am I being thick, or is the grappling hook not in the campaign? In Titanfall 2?
I can't remember.
I don't think there was a grappling hook. It is definitely in the multiplayer, though, right? That's what you're reminiscing about.
Yeah, it's in the multiplayer.
Okay, right. I don't think that it was in the single player, so I don't know what it feels like. And
Did you not play any online?
No, dude. I just played the story.
Yeah, I think it's not.
Okay. And only Pathfinder has grappling hook, and I haven't played that character yet. So
you got to play some grappling hook, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just thought it would be good to get some, because obviously you spent a good while playing Titanfall and now you've spent a good while playing Apex. It's a similar experience.
Yeah, the transition has been good. It hasn't. I didn't feel any different. It's just a bit slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does feel very similar. There is a problem with Apex at the moment that has really pissed me off. Since the Battle Pass came out, sometimes shots don't register.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got the drop on someone yesterday when I was playing with my brother, and he was watching. He had died, so he was watching through my screen, and I got him with a Spitfire, and the first 10 shots didn't hit him.
Oh.
So then he got me first, and yeah.
There's been
They were directly on him. I was close, and people have posted it online and stuff, so it's definitely a problem.
That's
and
not
it's
good.
really annoying because
Yeah. There's been connection issues, isn't it? Just lag spikes and.
It's been so laggy as well since. Yeah, I think it must just be that they're not prepared for how many people are playing it.
Yeah.
Because they can't have possibly thought it would become so successful so quickly.
No. There's no hype. But leading up to it, it dropped and it gained in popularity so quickly. It's incredible.
It was 50 million people by the 4th of March.
Damn.
1 month later.
I wonder how much of that was obviously, I guess, people may not be fans of Battle Royales, but they see these, I guess, whatever they want to call them, social influencers playing them, and then they'll be like, hey man, I want to be just like him. Namely speaking of, what's his face, Ninja, because obviously he's come out.
I really don't think if you don't like Battle Royales, you're going to be watching Ninja.
Yeah, I suppose. But I guess I just wonder how much of it was actually just, I guess pure advertising and, Respawn coming out saying, look, we got this game, and, it actually really taking a lot
very little
more
advertising,
traction.
did they? That's the kind of the thing. They released it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the kind of people who are advertising it, like you say, like Ninja and gamers, they're advertising it to people who like those games. I think the majority of the people who are playing Apex Legends are probably just people who came over from Fortnite or Titanfall. I doubt you've got anybody who doesn't really play either, other than maybe some people's friends who are like, you should play this game.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is. I guess it is quite a weird success. Well, yeah, it's just weird how much traction it has gained so quick. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to be able to uphold its current player count. But yeah, I guess we'll see. It's still, again, it's only a very, very, I guess in terms of Battle Royale games, it is still very much a baby. But yeah, it's certainly, it certainly started off strong. Yeah, I can appreciate what Respawn are doing with Apex. I guess a lot of people are maybe disappointed that they didn't actually announce Titanfall 3 when they were teasing this, but
Yeah.
Yes.
I think lots of people kind of knew it was coming. There had been rumors about it being a Battle Royale for quite a while now, so...
Wasn't there that map that was released a year ago?
A year ago, yeah, and everybody just ignored it. But it was actually surprisingly close.
Yeah, it's pretty much, isn't it 1-to-1, just what it is?
There were slight differences, but yeah, it was clearly a mock-up of what it was going to be, and had mostly the same, it had the same key points.
Yeah. I don't know, I think this game kind of fills the market in between Fortnite and, I guess, PUBG to an extent. It's tactical. It's not too cartoony, but it's still a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
It's just, it worked for me. It was just, Fortnite was too goofy. PUBG and what's the other big ones? I guess COD and Battlefield. Battlefield's not out yet, but they're too serious, and yeah, this one is just the right one for me.
Yeah, I agree. There's a level of character to it, which is nice.
Yeah, and the fact that you have all these individual characters with their own abilities is kind of like Dota. I'm like, yes. I'm in.
I think personally, the one that I get along with more is, in terms of the gunplay and everything, is just Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Battle Royale. But that, I guess, is just because I'm so used to the way that the guns react in those Call of Duty games, so I'm actually like a bit more equipped to counter the recoil, and actually I know how to play those games a bit better. But I guess really the only way to get better at any of these games is actually just sit down and play them, and no matter how many times you get eliminated early on, just persevere. And I think that's pretty much what I need to start doing. So
yeah, definitely. I guess that's our Apex chat.
All Apexed out.
Well, I mean, there's not really much more to say, is there? And it's against our theme of the chat anyway.
Yeah.
But I think there was one thing you guys wanted to mention as well that we spoke about just before, which has been announced this week. This Google Stadia thing.
Yes.
Google Games as a Service taken sort of to the next level, I guess, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's Chor, I think you're watched the stream.
I watched. So I was at work and I put on the beginning of the conference at 5 p.m. I mean, 5 p.m. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
No, it's the Games as a Service to an extreme, because games are the service for this. You can just stream games to your browser, to your Chromecast.
To the extreme.
Oh boy,
Sorry,
I should have used that. That's good. Yeah, you can play games wherever you want on any platform. So if you have a smart TV, you can just stream your favorite games to your TV. Of course, with the TV, you'll be wondering, oh, what do I use to control the games? So they have their own proprietary controller, which is not even Bluetooth. It connects straight to Wi-Fi. So there's no element of lag in between the controller and the connection point. And it's really cool because they've actually tested it before on the Chrome browser with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but most people have been saying it works really well. There's no noticeable lag compared to a console game. And go ahead.
I've had this kind of discussion with people in work talking about, well, isn't there just going to be loads of lag? And I think there's kind of... I feel like people haven't become aware that their internet is significantly better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, most games you play nowadays are online, right?
Yeah.
And they don't... And obviously it's slightly different because then a lot of the processing is done on your end.
Yep.
But there is nowadays, like... You're sending a lot of information at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like Battle Royale in the server, like a lot of stuff is going on that they're sending to you, and there's not so much lag. Nope. I mean, there's not really any, right? It's sort of, you're playing Twitch shooters over the internet.
Yeah.
But they think you can't play these games streaming them.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be playing Street Fighter or Counter-Strike on Stadia.
No.
Not at the beginning, anyway. But anything like Battle Royale, other just single-player games, that's going to be perfect for it.
Yeah, I mean, single-player games especially, right? Because there's definitely not going to be any sort of lag issues. You don't have to worry about what other people have done.
No, exactly.
Do we actually have like any confirmation of, like, I guess, a game database that they like will be able to choose from? Because
No, they've not said yet.
There's no
Doom
catalog.
Eternal, I guess AC Odyssey. Right?
Yeah,
Yep.
You'd like to think so, but it's just, are they actually going to have like a lot of games?
It depends if people get on board, right? Because I mean, lots of these publishers kind of have their own, like Xbox with their Game Pass thing.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that they probably want to go the same sort of route.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they'd put a lot of their stuff on Stadia.
Yeah, exactly.
When they're clearly gearing up to turn their model into a software like service kind of thing as well.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I mean, game makers want to get their games across, as many as possible, right? So I don't see why you wouldn't put your game on Stadia.
Yeah,
when it becomes
I
available.
mean, I suppose like independent developers are really open to whatever they want, but I think the idea is great. I think having a controller that connects directly via Wi-Fi and being able to stream, and have minimal lag is absolutely amazing. But I struggle to, I guess with a lot of new technology and everything, when it first starts off, there's going to be a bit of skepticism about it and whether or not it can actually hit the ground running. But I guess if they actually have like a decent lineup of games, and if they actually get something put together really well, then I can't see why it wouldn't take off. I think that I think it certainly, I guess, leaves them open for a lot of future work around it.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as they hit the ground running, like you say, as well, if they don't have any really issues with it from the get-go, then that'll immediately assuage anybody's fears about lag and stuff, if it just works as it starts.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And since it's Google, they probably won't have any struggle with, if lots of people are on it at once, they probably won't struggle.
No. They described these services like, so if you're watching a trailer for a game, for example, and then on the side you can just have a button that says "click to play now." Like that's incredible. You just click the button and then you get into the game straight away. And
trailers will now be just tiny demos. They'll be on YouTube, and the opening trailer, this ad before your video is just going to pick up your controller, man. Let's have a go.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That's way too fucking future, man.
And there's things like game states as well. So like a Twitch streamer can be playing the game, and they can just click a button to save the state of the game, and whoever's watching can start picking up where they left off, and basically complete the same challenge. It's really cool, and streamers can also let people play with them in real time. If they're streaming, they can say, "Hey, click this button to, queue up to play with me," and when your time is there, you jump in and play the game.
Damn, that's legitimately cool.
Yeah. It's the future.
I am kind of. It does, as long as it goes well. I think that it'll be really cool, because I think there's a lot of potential for it. I think that idea of ads becoming games is a great one. I think for streamers, like you say, it'll be really, really great. Because if you're a puzzle game streamer, I don't know if those exist, but that's perfect, right? Because you can set up your puzzles to just be or like a Minecraft streamer, set up your Minecraft world and just be saved it, get inside it, baby.
I guess more up to date, they have the creative mode in Fortnite now, so instead of having to wait for your streamer to upload it, you can be there as soon as they've created their random level or whatever, and be you can now play it.
Although will it work in Fortnite, because that'll be held on a server?
Not if they upload server duties to Google. Google is all servers ever.
Yeah, I mean, I it's just, I don't know, man. It just seems like I said, it just seems way too future, man. If it actually works,
well, they've proven it to work with Assassin's Creed.
But I guess that was only really with I understand that Google is obviously one of the world's biggest fucking internet services, but I feel like their test was perhaps not with a representable population.
No, of course not. Yeah, you're right.
If it can scale up well and still have the same performance, which as you said, Google has the capacity to do that. They should be able to scale it up. They are a worldwide leading technology brand. Why the hell couldn't they? But I feel like if it does scale up and it actually works well, I can't see any at the moment. I can't see any particular downside. I guess really on the flip side though, I know a lot. I know Dylan doesn't really buy any physical copies of games anymore, and I don't know how many games physical copies you've bought in the last year, but it does sort of, I guess, it's detracting away from that now, and it's I guess from a old school point of view, it is really sort of taken away from that nostalgia effect of actually walking into a shop and purchasing a game.
Yeah, no, I get that. I personally, I haven't been in a game shop in such a long time. I've just been. I bought physical copies of God of War and Horizon.
Yeah.
On the internet. So.
Yeah, well, this is it. I guess I go into like game shops and I'll have a quick browse to see if there's any like any games that I've been wanting to get for quite a long time that are on sale, or I can get them and pick them up for a good deal. But 9 times out of 10, I find that I can buy. I mean, even with physical games, I find I can buy them online for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I guess I just miss like that feeling of going into a shop and actually being like, oh my god, it's the release date for this game. Oh my god, I'm gonna go to a shop and actually buy it. I'm gonna be there in the queue and like, oh my god, this is so hyped. And now it's just, I guess like in a sense, you can just, it's a lot easier to actually just have access to these games, but it just does detract away from that whole
I get
physical
that.
experience. So I don't know. I feel like I said, I feel like it certainly has a lot of scope to be incredible. I don't know, like I think it will probably be a couple of years until it actually maybe starts becoming like a legitimate competitor with any of these other video game developers like PlayStation and Xbox. I don't know if it will actually. I don't know if it will physically be competing with them for a good couple of years yet, but
yeah,
I think it'll take off quite quickly.
Yeah, they said
I think it's-
2019 is the release. Like it's coming this year.
But I mean, as in like, I think people will pretty quickly get on board with it as long as it works.
yeah,
Because it's basically just Netflix for games, right? And people, it's proven that Netflix does well. And it provides sort of what the Switch provided, right? And that you can kind of then play your games anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is your controller and like a tablet or your phone.
Yeah.
Like a phone might be a bit too small, but fine for lots of things, right?
Yeah.
And if it works, there's no point having, and it's not too expensive. There's no point not giving it a shot, right?
Yeah, it's just the cost of the monthly running cost compared to buying a console.
Have we actually had like any kind of pricing confirmation of like the subscription service or or like the controller itself?
No, there's no cost information yet, I don't think.
Okay. But I mean, I guess you'd have to sort of pitch it in, I guess, a similar ballpark as the Game Pass and other stuff that are like it.
But I reckon it'll be more expensive because obviously you're kind of then subscribing to the console as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I think the base level of the service might be the same as Netflix or whatever, and then if you want to buy individual games, you pay a specific amount for those games. I think that's the way they were pitching it. So do you think it's going to be
buying individual games, or do you think it's going to be like a Game Pass thing?
The way they were pitching it in the conference was like you can, like for example, like clicking to play the games beside the videos, it's like buying a game. So I think they might have a buy your own game kind of service. I'm not sure.
That seems weird to me. I don't know why they'd do that, because if you're buying a game, you want to have the physical copy of it, right? Like, unless it's downloading it on your Xbox because it's on sale or whatever.
I'm not sure yet. Yeah.
I feel like it will fill that niche of. So like you've got Netflix lets you watch all these shows, but you still buy the TV show, like the films you really like, right?
Yeah.
And like with Spotify as well, similar thing. You listen to all kinds of music, but then if you're really into your music, you still buy physical copies of the stuff you want to support, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like this can fill that niche for games, but if you have to buy the games individually on there, I don't think it will do as well as it could.
Yeah, I would be much happier with just play a flat rate and you can play whatever you want.
Yeah,
just like Game Pass.
But I guess that's then harder to get lots of games on it because it's harder to make money for the big companies than maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. But it would unlock so many more customers though.
True.
Just think of people who doesn't own consoles or PCs or...
Yeah, but they'll still have to buy the controller. It depends how expensive the controller is then.
Yeah, but if you already have a computer that's, a laptop that's shitty, you can still play whatever you want. You don't need a controller for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You don't need a controller. You only need a controller if you don't have a way of input, like on a smart TV.
Okay. So yeah, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, it works with it works cross-platform. It works with already existing controllers as well.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, yeah, like you were saying, Jack, it definitely has the potential. We'll have to see what they're actually doing with it. I don't think an individual game, I don't think buying them individually will work.
No, it might be too expensive.
Yeah.
We'll see more at E3, I reckon.
Yeah, it seems lined up to be sort of shown off then, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be. There's definitely opportunity. It's exciting times for games. I also wonder if this will go the same route as Netflix, and like I was kind of suggesting earlier, everyone else is going to just do the same thing, right? You're going to have Google with their own Google streaming exclusives, and Xbox and like Microsoft and Sony with their own. I feel like it's just going to be the next level of console war, and it's just going to be just as annoying as TV streaming is at the moment.
Yeah, it's a little bit different though, isn't it? Because you need the back end to handle all these demands, and Google is in a position where it can squash any competitor.
Yeah, I guess they'll be like Google and Amazon, and that's about it.
Yeah, Amazon's actually doing one of those as well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard rumors.
Well, because Amazon have more like internet processing power than Google, right? They like the Amazon Web Services.
Yeah,
kind of
they host like a majority of the internet. Yeah.
So I mean, they're definitely in the position to have their own as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot of things that compete with Amazon that they still host, so maybe they'll host like Microsoft's one as well.
Yeah, but it's the cost, isn't it? If you already own something, it's cheaper. So Microsoft and Sony will be paying much more for these services than
True.
Google will.
But they also have access to the games, whereas Google don't.
Yeah, no, Google actually announced like their first party company with Jade Raymond as the head of their company. I don't know if you remember.
I'm sure Mark would know who that
She
is.
was the CEO of Ubisoft Montreal, making Assassin's Creed a while ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll just have to see where it goes. I think it's all a bit up in the air, but I do think if they, depending on how they go with how you get games, I think it'll be a good opportunity and it'll be fun. I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah,
so hopefully it's not too expensive.
Me too, yeah.
Because then I can play it on like my work computer.
Imagine.
Anywhere with a screen, basically.
Yeah, that's their advertising. Anywhere with a screen.
Imagine if you're just walking along the street and a billboard flashes up and it's like connect, and you just play fucking
dude, crowd
you
gaming.
Play Apex Legends. Oh, it would be so good. You could play like all together on one screen.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yes.
So you're suggesting like just on a plane as well?
Oh, it'd be so good. Except that's way too much wireless stuff going on.
No, you can get wireless on the planes now. You can get internet.
Yeah, but like
the shit though.
I don't know.
It's so bad.
Lots of other people's connections connecting to streaming services.
Yeah.
On a plane might be a bit.
They
fucky.
even said something like you can have 1,000-person battle royals because all the processing is on one end rather than different consoles and catering to the lowest denominator of the connection.
So they can just have 1,000 1080 Ti's.
Yeah.
Instead of like 2 and then a bunch of just Xboxes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
I'm hyped. I think it could be cool.
Yeah.
I really want to see someone do that with a billboard.
It would be really cool. You just have to bring your controller around all the time. It's just like whenever.
It would be like the new Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
You could, because it's Google own all the adverts as well online. They just need to get into like the billboard world. Start hiding Pokemon inside adverts. Get your controller out. You can catch it.
Oh, Pokemon
Real
Go.
world Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm excited. Yes.
It doesn't even exist, sure, but you're excited.
But there's so much more things you can do.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of potential. I think it'll be cool to see what happens with it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see where it goes. Right. I don't have anything more to say about games this week. I'm sure Mark will be disappointed in us for talking very minimally about our backlogs.
Oh man.
But, we had a chat. It's okay.
Yeah.
I can't play so many games at the moment, so you can't blame me.
That's true. I mean, I have no excuse. Just Apex Legends.
You're just terrible. It's all right. You spent the entire time talking about Titanfall last week. It's me who's not played any new games for a while now.
That's true. That's true.
I am a letdown. We've chatted about games for... Is it an hour? Yeah, an hour. We've chatted about games for an hour. And you can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes at All Backed Up, a video game SOS. You can find us on YouTube at Low Expectations Media, and this will be in the All Backed Up playlist, where you can also find our old stuff under Shouting Over the Static. There's also some other stuff in there. Maybe we'll get around to doing some more stuff eventually. We definitely want to. We're just not necessarily the most organised people. That has been us. That has been video games. And we'll speak to you next week. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.